Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. Today we are diving into the absolute best fragrance releases of 2025 so far. Future legends, no doubt. And these right here are some of those beautiful, wonderful, majestic, opulent fragrances that we're going to be talking about today. Fragrances that have wonderful notes that just smell like the highest quality that you've ever smelled. Truly amazing staying power, the type that you just want to spray in front of the camera over and over for effect. So stick with me while we check out some of the absolute best of the best that the world has to offer. Camera's off, right? Who picked these pieces of shit? Seriously, this is like clearance bin from Walgreens. This is dog shit. How am I supposed to talk about this stuff like I like it? All right, now that we've got that fixed, let's talk about 10 of the actual best designer fragrances released so far this year. Starting off with number 10, 212 VIP Black Elixir by Carolina Herrera. Now this is a more recent pickup for me. It was announced months ago, many months ago, but it only recently became available in the US. It has been available in Europe for a little while longer, but I waited until it was here. And actually you can already pick it up at JOMASHOP. So essentially it launched at discounters in the US at the same time that it launched at Macy's in the US. So you guys really just lined that up perfect, guys. Nice. And funnily enough, this is not their only 212 Black release of the year. They also have New York Rodeo, which is random. And that one I would pick under this one. I think this one is much better. I would pick that under the other one. This is normal English. I'm not a robot. Note-wise, this one is really simple. It has lavender, it has licorice, and it has vanilla. That's it. Now, when you first spray it on, you do get a pretty good pop of licorice, and it does have a little bit of that like almost tangy feel to it. Also a little lavender in there, keeps things, you know, slightly clean as well. But this one is really about the vanilla. As it dries down, that vanilla comes out more and more, and it's gonna draw some comparisons to some other popular fragrances out there, you know, stuff like Born in Roma Intense, or even vanilla-wise, Invictus Victory Elixir. Not that you would ever get this one confused for Invictus Victory Elixir side by side, that's not what I'm saying, just in terms of how that vanilla comes across as it dries down. You know, it's kind of in that style, that very popular modern style. And again, this one is a more recent pickup, so I haven't been able to wear it as much as some of the other fragrances on the list. So it's entirely possible that, you know, I head through fall, head through winter, wear this some more and end up liking it more. But it's surprisingly good. It really is. Like, it's gonna fly way under the radar. Not too many people are gonna probably talk about this one, not as much as a lot of the other ones that I'm gonna talk to you about here today. And it has kind of been delayed, you know, late launch and everything. Or I should say a late launch from when it was first announced, because as far as the fragrance itself, this is the right time to launch. This is a fall winter time fragrance, so launching it now makes sense. It's just, you know, it was talked about months and months ago, and they put out the press releases and everything, and then it didn't actually hit till now. That's what I meant. Which that really only matters, I guess, for like you and me. Your average person maybe doesn't even know or care, to be fair. Number 9, I'm gonna go with Myslf Absolute by Yves Saint Laurent. Really like this one. Basically takes that same versatility, wearability, and compliment factor that the first one had, the original one had, and then kind of ramps it up a little bit. So off the top, you have ginger, you have bergamot, you have cardamom. It's nice, fizzy, attention grabbing, a little bit sweet. And then as it dries down, some floral notes like orange blossom, which is really gonna tie it in with the original Myslf as well. Great versatility with this one. You can wear it pretty much whenever you want. Like I said, when I introduced it, big compliment puller. Has a little patchouli in the base as it dries down. Great staying power, so it sticks around, it projects well, gets you noticed. Yes, it is a Myslf, so that means a lot of people are gonna say, oh, I don't like it because of the popularity of the line. But this stuff is good, just a great daily wear fragrance. And actually putting it down here in 9th, I'm kind of like, I want to move it up higher, but then a lot of the ones above it, I can't move this ahead of. So it's like, it's tough, you know? The next one is from a line that I absolutely love. A lot of fragrances in this line are absolutely killer. This one is very well done. You could maybe subtract some points and say it's not different enough. You know, it doesn't take that DNA, that style, and push it far enough in its own direction, and you know, it could lose points for that depending on your viewpoint of the scent. It is stronger with you parfum. And like I said, there's a good amount of overlap here between fragrances like Stronger With You Absolutely, or even Stronger With You Intensely. But I don't care too much about that. Ultimately, this list is just about what do I like? You know, how do I like the smell of that fragrance? That's really what this is about. And I love the smell. So it's gotta be here. It's gotta be in the top 10 somewhere. It has chestnut, vanilla, lavender, pink pepper, and sage as some of the notes in the fragrance. Sticks around forever, projects extremely well. So that's great for people looking for something that does have that, you know, higher level of performance. Obviously gonna be more of a fall, winter time fragrance. And basically, if you wanna dumb it down, you could think of this as kind of as you would expect a parfum to be, like the more mature, slightly more buttoned up, Stronger With You. But it still has that playful edge, still has that sweetness, that warmth that people really love, and of course that chestnut in full effect. And I do want to bring this up again just before I forget. Nothing to do with the fragrances, but Fragrantica, can you fix your mobile website? Every time you're on the website, you can be on there for like 30 seconds looking up a fragrance. It'll do this. Like, come on. As an example here, let's just go to Sauvage. Okay, so we're gonna go to Sauvage. Loaded it up fresh, right? So here it is, right? This is in real time. Here I'm scrolling. Oh, look, Sauvage, I like Sauvage. Okay, cool. Let's leave it there for a second. Let's see what happens. Nice. I get it that they need to make some ad money or whatever, but guys, can you stop making it where it's ads that try to like hijack people's phones? You're trying to trick people to where they go, oh no, I've been hacked. And then they start clicking through, downloading crap. Like, come on, guys.
Got him! Got him!
The next fragrance is one that's perfect for spring and summer, also good for fall, and you could probably stretch its use into winter as well, although it's definitely more of a warm weather scent. One that I think is just unbelievably easy to wear, smells fantastic in the opening, and just as good in the dry down. It's Polo 67 Eau de Parfum. And I know that like saying a Polo is one of the best fragrances of the year, it's not a sexy choice for a lot of people, because it's just like, Polo. You know, it's not a line that carries as much gusto as a bunch of the other ones out there. But for what this does, it does really, really well. The fruit off the opening smells great. Just super easy to wear, like I said, juicy, fresh, sweet. Also has some decent depth to it, you know, some nice woodiness that comes out as the fragrance dries down. It's pretty cheap at full retail, at least compared to a lot of other fragrances nowadays. Plus de Chanel. Yeah, l'exclusive. Oh, that is some unholy pricing. But to be fair, so is Sauvage Elixir, so is Y Elixir at full retail. So this one right here, just a Swiss Army knife type fragrance. Love the way it smells, easy to wear. Good stuff. The next scent is another one that I picked up here recently, actually at the same time as this one. I bought them both off of Macy's at the same time. And it's one I've not seen talked about a whole heck of a lot just yet, but it is surprisingly good. Before we jump into that one though, let's jump into some codes to save a little money. And here they are. The Gift Express code and the Perfume Box codes you can use whenever you want. Used to be they were single use, now they are unlimited use. We also have a code from Fragrance Lord, which you can use to save money there. And the JOMASHOP codes, of course, which you can use anytime you shop at JOMASHOP. They just have to be used within the app. All the other codes you can use whenever you want. The next fragrance is Hugo Boss Bottled Beyond, which this is a whole new style of Hugo Boss bottled, at least in terms of like the aesthetic. Allow me to show you. So this is Beyond and this is Absolute, and you can see kind of this different style of bottle, just like little differences down here. The cap is different, also a new logo for Beyond right there. And then the bottom, different as well. So to me, it's kind of an interesting slash strange one. You know, they're positioning it like, oh, look at this, bottled beyond. You know, as if it's like a step above all the other Hugo Boss fragrances. It's got the new logo just for itself, and it's got this new slightly redesigned bottle just for itself, and it's got the Beyond logo on the bottom as well. So you're like, wow, okay, how are they making it different? How are they making this, you know, the biggest one so far? Well, first off, the atomizer sucks, like all the other ones, so they didn't change that. You see, Bottled Beyond is not as heavy, deep, rich, dark, heavy. Did I mention that already? Yeah, I think I did. As fragrances like Bottled Elixir or Triumph Elixir or Absolute. Instead, this takes things a completely different direction. The note breakdown's really simple. It's basically ginger, leather, and wood. That's pretty much it. And it has this interesting minerality to it, which could remind you a little bit of fragrances like Ganymede. Yeah, the way the leather comes across in here is vaguely reminiscent of how they approach the minerality in that scent and other ones like it. Now, I'm not saying this is a clone of Ganymede because side by side they're quite different, but it definitely has taken some inspiration from that one. There's also a fruity like sweetness to it, and at times on my skin, it reminds me vaguely of like the feeling of getting out of a pool on a really hot summer's day, and then like the smell of your skin after the pool water has dried or evaporated off your skin. It's got like a touch of that to it as well. It's classy, it's well done, it's modern smelling, very, very different from the other ones, like I said, of the bottled line that I've hit here recently, but it's actually really nice. It's got a good classiness to it, easy to wear, good versatility, yeah. Just a solid smelling fragrance. And I gotta say, the first time I smelled it, I wasn't in love with it, but I've worn it a few times since then, and I'm like, oh, pretty good. From there, we hop on over to Elixir Absolu from Jean Paul Gaultier. It's got a nice plum in the opening, cinnamon in there as well, a good amount of tonka as it dries down. It is gonna have overlap with Le Male Elixir, but you would expect that already because it is a flanker of a flanker after all. You get some lavender in here, it's gonna tie it in with the original Le Male as well, and it is not quite as honeyed, you know, with the sweetness, the way that Le Male Elixir is. So a lot of people will approach this as like a slightly more grown up Le Male Elixir. Great performance here, you know, good longevity, good projection, obviously made for fall and winter time. Big compliment puller also, as you would expect. It's just a solid fragrance, really well done, smells nice, and I would take this one over Flower Edition, which is the Le Beau that came out this year. I think the Le Male version is better. It's not a version of the fragrance, but the Le Male Flanker is better than the Le Beau flanker for this year, is what I meant. Number 4, just outside the top 3, is one that I initially, like on first wear, was kind of like, I don't really see that this is worth very much hype. And then as I wore it more, I thought, it's actually really solid. It's good stuff. It's Spicebomb Metallic Musk. So with Metallic Musk, Victor and Rolf get back closer to the original Spicebomb DNA, like what was established with the first few releases. They get closer to that. Because with Night Vision and then also Infrared, those two, they were kind of doing their own thing. And to an extent, they were like, Night Vision is green and we have green notes. Infrared is red and we have red notes. This is redefining perfumery, guys. So I guess they went back to the drawing board and they were like, well, we did green, we did red. We need something else. We need like orange colors or something, yellow colors, I don't know. And then one dude was like, let's just maybe go back to like what we did before, but then what we'll do is we'll make it fresher. You remember, because we had the fresh one that looked like this and we discontinued it. So what if we did something kind of, you know, to get back in like with a fresher Spicebomb again? And that's what they did, and it actually works really well. It smells super pleasant. It has that Spicebomb kick, but not as aggressive on the nose. Smoother, has a nice sweet, clean muskiness to it as well. Kind of like the word of the day, just easy to wear. Number 3 for me stands atop its version of the line that it's in, but maybe not atop the line altogether. It's Gentleman's Society Ombre. So I do think that this one, if I could choose just one, I would pick over the original Gentleman's Society and also Extreme. But I don't know that I would pick it over Reserve Privé. And you know, it's possible one or two of the other ones in the Gentleman line I would also take over this one. But it does continue to grow on me. So it's moved on up the list, you know, it's moved up that ladder. And I think easily it's the best of the societies, the Gentleman Societies. And you could also make an argument for this being number 2 or 1 in this list. And truthfully, all of the top 3 for me are essentially lumped together. Like there's really no big separation between the 3. It's basically just whatever mood I'm in that day, essentially. This stuff does smell fantastic. It's gonna lean a little more classy, a little more grown up. So like much younger guys maybe won't go for it as much. Tobacco, narcissus, vanilla. Also iris, some additional woods, nutmeg. Again, this stuff is hyper classy, a touch powdery, but really top notch. Fall and winter time, evening, that is perfect. Number 2 is Ralph's Club New York. What? Yeah. This stuff, as far as Like your versatile everyday fragrance, I think is the best one so far this year. Like when you consider price, versatility, performance, compliment factor, how it smells, the whole 9 yards, this stuff is great. They even give you a larger size bottle, 110 mils. It's just a little bit bigger. It has black currant in there, which gives it a nice little interesting twist, a little tang off the top, but a good fresh fruity sweetness in there as well. As it dries down, it keeps things, you know, a little bit by the book. Very classy, gentlemanly, but at the same time, casually easy to pull off as well. And if you were looking for something earth-shaking, earth-shattering, something very, 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 very new, this may not do it for you, because really the claim to fame with this one is that it introduces black currant in the opening. That's how their marketing was. They were like, we're using black currant for the first time in men's fragrances. Did Aventus stop existing? What? I'm just saying that because Aventus uses black currant, but don't worry, this doesn't smell like Aventus at all. It's just a great jack of all trades fragrance. You can wear that anywhere, anytime, and it's gonna work. And the number one fragrance for me so far this year also comes in a gold bottle, so you may know what it is. It's mostly known for raspberry and leather, and it's gonna be doing a big job for me this fall and winter. It's Forever Wanted Elixir by Azzaro. Now this smells nothing like the Most Wanted, so if you're familiar with that one and you're like, well, maybe it's kind of like that, it's not. A nice, sweet, attention-getting, slightly tart raspberry in the opening that people absolutely love, and then that leather comes out more and more as the fragrance dries. I think it smells absolutely fantastic. I love having leather fragrances in my rotation. Almost ate the tester strip just now.
Oh, he ate it! He's eating paper! No!
Pretty much everyone that I've had smell this thinks that it is absolutely lights out. And it's gonna give you something very different from most all the other designer fragrances out there right now. That balance of like darkness that the leather has with the sweetness, that touch of freshness from the raspberry makes this one that is perfectly suited for a night out, more formal occasions as well. And it also works great casually when it's a little bit cooler outside. So Forever Wanted Elixir, number one for me right now, and that is the top 10. Now, of course, if we get any more big releases that come out this year, maybe some of these slide down. Also, as I wear some of these through fall and winter, maybe some of these move up and others slide down. But this is kind of where it's at right now. Some other ones that I wanted to shout out really quickly. Aqua de Jo Elixir, that one has grown on me. I like it, kind of a mix of like Fahrenheit cologne and Aqua de Jo DNA. So that one's cool. You know, it's kind of like this fusion of modern and throwback. And then Million Gold Elixir, I think is really nicely done. Basically takes the original gold and fixes it, smooths it out, and removes that kind of like pickly, funky undertone that some people will perceive as body odor. So Gold Elixir, much better. And then Bleu de Chanel Exclusive, I like how it smells. I do think it's really overpriced, but of course we already knew it was gonna be. And that one is just outside the top 10 as of right now. So there we go, guys. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.